Hi, this is Michael Orl from MobileBurn.com. Today I have with me the Samsung Stratosphere. It's a 4G LTE device with a 5-row QWERTY keyboard. It's available now for $149.99 on a 2-year contract. Okay, let's pop open the box and see what we have inside. Actually, up front and center is the Stratosphere itself. We'll power it up. There it goes. Take a look at what else comes in the box. A USB cable, micro USB connector, and full-size connector, of course. And a very compact Samsung charger, like so. And all we have otherwise are warranty information and the user guide and terms and conditions, that kind of stuff. So here we have the Stratosphere, and it's going to be very familiar for those of you that have ever picked up a Samsung Epic 4G for Sprint. It's basically the same device that's had LTE support retrofitted. So you can see we've got a large 4-inch display, wide VGA, 480 by 800 pixels resolution, touch-sensitive controls for menu, home, back, and search along here. Forward-facing 1.3 megapixel camera and some sensors. Of course, the star of the show is the rather large 5-row QWERTY keyboard. You've got a dedicated row of numbers across the top, arrow buttons down here, and again, redundant controls for home, menu, search, and back. Keys have a nice click to them, feel pretty good. The layout seems a little bit odd, though. I'm not sure what it is. I often hit the wrong character or something, the key when I'm down here on the right hand edge. Things don't quite line up the way you would expect, but you get used to it after a little bit of time. This is a pretty bulky device, though. The weight's not too bad considering the keyboard, 166 grams, but it's relatively thick compared to some of the phones that are coming out now. It's at 14.8 millimeters by my calipers. You can see on the left hand edge here we've got volume controls. Up top, 3.5mm headphone jack port, the pry point there for removing the rear cover, the power and standby button along there, and just a micro USB charging and data port along the bottom edge. Back of the phone, we've got a 5 megapixel camera with an LED flash, and if I pop off the rear battery here, you can see it says 6.6 watt hours, but if you take a look at the voltage there, 3.7 volts. You can calculate the milliamp hours, which comes out to 1800, which makes it a pretty sizable battery. Micro SD memory card slot right here. Comes with a 4 gig card installed. There's 4 gig of storage in the device as well. Only about 2 gig of that is available to the user, though. I'm not a huge fan of the sliding mechanism used on this keyboard. It is spring-loaded, but it's very rough, and I just don't like having to plant my thumbs on the screen in order to open it up, especially since it's a touchscreen, so things happen when you do that. It's very hard to do it without using your fingers on the display. This is a Samsung TouchWiz device, and as such you'll probably recognize the puzzle piece lock screen. You can either drag the unlock piece in there, or since you can see I've already got missed calls, I can just drag that down there and automatically jump into the call log. Hit the home button, go back to the home screen. Pinch gesture will show you all of the different home screens you have, and you notice a little set home button, so you can change any of those panels to be the home panel. I'm going to leave the default as is. You can naturally swipe back and forth. Pull up the main menu. And see, it's a side-by-side page view by default, but if we go in here we can select list view as well. Unlike the newer versions of TouchWiz, there's no alphabetic index tabs along the right hand edge, which makes it a lot easier to use. Go back to grid view, and I can then edit this and rearrange the order of things, which is pretty cool. So you could organize by page and say have one page full of games and one full of utilities, or one full of things you just never used. Because there's a fair amount of applications that come pre-installed, and some of these you're never going to want to be in your way, like guided tours. You might look at that once if you're that rare individual. Otherwise you're never going to use that, and you're just going to want to get rid of it, and you can't uninstall it. Notice the applications that can be installed, like this benchmarks that I've put here in the updated Facebook client, actually have the minus sign there, so you just have to tap there to uninstall them, which is pretty cool. If I long press the home screen, you see recently launched applications. You also get access to the task manager, so you can see which apps are running and kill them off. See all the apps you've downloaded or updated downloads for it, and RAM and your storage as well. Now, of course, this is a 4G LTE device, but this device really wants you to use Wi-Fi. It's set up differently. You don't have a Wi-Fi shortcut across the top of the notification area here. You have something that's in the list of events at all points in time, and if you don't tell it to stop bugging you, it'll tell you every time that you're in access to a Wi-Fi network and your application could make use of it, so as to not use your data plan. I'm going to turn off Wi-Fi though, and show you that I've been having problems. I've been having problems with data. Even with 3G data, I've just been unable to get it to work properly, and I've had some problems with setting up email accounts as well. While I did get email accounts in here, as you can see I've got AOL and Gmail configured in here. I could only do that when I told it to go through the other type of email applications for adding an account. I'll try to show you what I mean here. Jump into accounts and I'll do add account. And you can see this error right down at the bottom about a missing PIN number it couldn't get. And I've been unable to use the Gmail and AOL icons to set that up. I had to use others in order to get past that. It worked eventually, but still something is definitely wrong with the device or the account. I'm not sure exactly. So I've been having a lot of issues with it. We're back on Wi-Fi. I didn't do that. The application did that automatically on its own. Like I said, it really wants to use Wi-Fi here. But while we're in here in the app, let me show you how it works. You can easily switch from one email account to another, and you can even go into the combined box. When you're in an individual one, you also have quick access to the different folders, which is pretty cool. So I could jump into just starred, for example, or something like that. Go back to the main one. And again, if I'm in the combined box, you can see the different colors. Google messages are in green, and the ones from AIM are in that red-orange color. Just scroll down here and pick a message. I can show you that it does indeed support HTML formatting, coloring, stuff like that. Naturally, we'll work in landscape mode. Slid open the keyboard here, and I'm going to show you how I can put in a new message. Add a contact this way if I choose. I'm imagining I can also type and say Clark, and find Clark Kent, subject, and then I can enter a message. Now, of course, if I'm in portrait mode, I don't have access to that hardware keyboard, and I can use the swipe keyboard instead. You just basically trace along from letter to letter, and it works quite well. I can send that off. Naturally, there's also a dedicated Gmail client. You can see that right here. Get a really nice Gmail experience with this application. You also pull down contacts just as you can with an Exchange account hooked up through the regular email application. In addition to contacts, you also get calendar appointments. You can quickly jump into that so you can see them. Different views. Take a very quick peek at the web browser. I'll pull up the full flash enabled mobile burn website so you can take a look at it. It's 1 gigahertz Hummingbird processor in this device, so pretty good processor. Of course, in today's dual core world it might seem a little underpowered, but really it was quite adequate for its time, and I think people are still going to find that it does a pretty reasonable job. You can see the flash animations going through right there. Browser renders quite well. It's still lagging though because it's not finished loading page. There we go. Probably should be a little snappier now. And you have multi-touch zooming as well. Here's a look at the wireless network settings in the device. It's a 802.11b G and N Wi-Fi capable device. Also supports Wi-Fi Direct. We have Bluetooth support as well, naturally. GPS, including assisted GPS for faster lock-ons. Wi-Fi hotspot supports up to 8 devices sharing your 4G connection. You can also tether via a USB connection. And here in the About Phone section, you can see we're running Google Android 2.3.5. That is almost the latest version of Gingerbread. It's the latest available for any device that's not the Nexus S 4G running Google Wallet. So that's a brief overview of the Samsung Stratosphere for Verizon Wireless. It's a 4G LTE capable device. It's on sale for $149.99 in stores now. It's a good deal in terms of actual price for an LTE device, but I'm just not really loving it. Battery life doesn't seem to be spectacular, which is not something unexpected for an LTE device, but I also found call audio quality to be pretty poor in both directions, which I find a bit disappointing. So again, that's the Samsung Stratosphere for Verizon Wireless. For MobileBurn.com, I'm Michael Orrell. Thanks for watching.